What did your mom do that shocked the entire neighborhood? My mom is this quiet librarian everyone underestimates. She's barely 5 and 3, always wears these oversized cardigans, and speaks so softly people have to lean in to hear her. But last summer, I saw a completely different side of her that nobody in our neighborhood will ever forget. It started on a regular Tuesday afternoon. Our neighbor, Mr. Donovan, had been hosting these loud pool parties every weekend for months. His backyard faced ours, and the noise was unbearable. Music blasting until 3 a.m., drunk people screaming, the works. Everyone on our street was suffering, but nobody wanted to confront him because he was this big-shot lawyer who bragged about suing people for fun. Mom had asked him politely 3 times to keep it down. Each time he'd laugh in her face and say, "What are you gonna do about it, library lady? File me in the wrong section?" His friends would crack up while Mom just walked away looking defeated. That Tuesday, I was helping Mom plant flowers when we overheard Mr. Donovan on his phone. He was shouting about his plans for the biggest rager yet that weekend. "These pathetic neighbors can't stop me," he laughed. "Especially that mouse of a woman next door and her kid." I expected Mom to ignore him like always. Instead, she quietly put down her gardening gloves and said, "I'll be right back." I watched her walk into our garage, confused about what she was doing. 15 minutes later, Mom emerged carrying this ancient-looking toolbox I'd never seen before. Without saying a word, she walked straight to our main water valve, knelt down and started working with these weird tools. "Mom, what are you doing?" I whispered, completely confused. "Remember how I told you I paid for college working as a plumber's assistant?" she said calmly, not looking up from her work. "Some skills you never forget." For 3 days, Mom disappeared into the garage for hours after work. I heard drilling, sawing, and strange metallic sounds, but she wouldn't let me see what she was doing. All she said was, "Sometimes people need to experience consequences." Saturday night arrived, and Mr. Donovan's party started right on schedule. The music was even louder than usual, and there were at least 60 people crammed into his backyard. Mom sat quietly at our kitchen table, sipping tea and watching the clock. At exactly 11:30 p.m., she stood up, walked to our backyard, and flipped a small switch she'd installed on our back wall. Suddenly, every sprinkler in Mr. Donovan's yard activated at once, except they weren't connected to water lines anymore. Mom had somehow redirected all his sprinklers to his septic system. Raw sewage sprayed everywhere, across his expensive patio furniture, into the pool, all over his horrified guests. People screamed and ran, slipping and falling in the disgusting mess. Mr. Donovan stood in the middle of his yard, completely drenched in sewage, screaming as his party literally turned to crap. When the police showed up, they couldn't figure out what happened. The plumbers called it a freak malfunction that would cost thousands to repair. No one suspected my quiet librarian mom who stood watching from our kitchen window, sipping her tea. Mr. Donovan never had another party. In fact, he put his house up for sale a month later. The neighbors now treat my mom with this weird mix of fear and respect. Nobody talks about what really happened, but everyone somehow knows. Last week, someone was playing music too loud down the street. Within minutes of Mom walking outside to check her mailbox, they turned it down. She never said a word. She didn't have to. That's when I realized my soft-spoken librarian mom might be the most badass person I know.